Picture this. You step out into a beautiful sunlight world. You take 3 steps, and a giant golden knight on a massive horse charges at you. 1 second later, you are flat on your face, staring at 2 words in bright red. You died. That knight has a name, by the way, the Tree Sentinel, and he has flattened millions of players in their first 5 minutes. So what do? Throw the controller? Delete the game? No. You smile, dust yourself off, and run right back in. And you died again. And again. 20 times in a row. Well, any other game that beat us this badly, we will call cheap and unfair. But Elden Ring gets away with it. Billions of players keep coming back to get crushed. Why does losing here feel so good? Well, the secret isn't that players love pain. The secret is invisible game design. As a game developer, I can tell you that making game feel fair is a carefully crafted illusion. From the way bosses swing their weapons to the hidden safety nets built into the world. From Software is secretly pulling strings behind the scenes, tricking our brains into loving the struggle. Over the next few minutes, we are going to look under the hood of this masterpiece. And it always starts with a very simple question. How do you make a giant monster tell you exactly how it's going to attack without saying a single word? So, why don't we throw our controllers through the TV when we died? Because deep down, we know it was our fault. The game didn't sneak up on us. It practically shouted its plans through a megaphone. In game design, we call this telegraphing. And it's not new. Animators have been doing it since the 1930s. It's one of Disney's classic 12 principles of animation, called anticipation. Before a character does something big, they wind up. Think of a cartoon villain pulling his fist way back before a punch. When a giant boss in Elden Ring raises their massive hammer high into the air, they usually don't just swing it instantly. They hold it there, they pose, they practically wait for you to take a photo. That dramatic pause is a giant warning sign. The developers are handing you the answers to the test before it starts. Hey, look at my right shoulder, in exactly 2 seconds this hammer is going down. But here's the part most people miss. The warning only works because of consistency. That hammer swing behaves exactly the same way, every single time. Same wind up, same speed, same spot on the floor. The rules never change behind your back, so every death becomes a lesson, so you can actually study their patterns. And when a game breaks that promise, players notice immediately. Ask any Dark Souls 2 veteran about grab attacks. Yes, From Software's own game, where enemies would grab you from a full meter away, catching thin air next to your body. You thought correctly, and you died anyway. Or ask a Helldivers 2 player about help-out steering. Sometimes you can guide your drop pod freely, and sometimes the game just takes over, slamming you into a spot you never choose, spawning you into a terrible position before you even touch the ground. Same input, different result. That is what unfair feels like. Not losing, but losing to rules that don't behave the same way twice, or are not clear on what they mean. Elden Ring goes the opposite way. It makes sure you always understand why you died. The boss hit you there because you stood there at that moment. Clear rules, clearly telegraphed, perfectly consistent. It's no longer a test of cat-like reflexes. It's about paying attention. It turns a brutal fight into a rhythm game where you learn when to step left, when to jump, and when to duck. But let's be honest, sometimes, even when you know exactly what the giant is going to do, you still mess up the timing. 10 times in a row. You're stuck. You're frustrated. and you've hit a brick wall. And that is where Elden Ring pulls off its cleverest trick of all. So, even when you know the boss is about to swing, sometimes your fingers just do not cooperate. In other tougher games, this was the end of the road. You either got good, or you quit. But Elden Ring has a brilliant safety net: the open world. It is not just there to look pretty, it is a giant invisible difficulty slider. If the tree sentinel keeps crushing you into the dirt, you don't have to keep smashing your head against that wall. You can literally turn around and walk away. Go explore a sunny meadow, wander into a spooky cave, pull a magical sword out of a swamp, beat up some giant crabs for lunch. You come back with better gear, more levels, and most importantly, your confidence. Suddenly, you're not just stronger on paper, you feel like an absolute Elden Lord. Traditional games make you swallow your pride and click Easy Mode in that menu. Elden Ring lets you adjust the difficulty through adventure. It makes you feel clever for taking a break, transforming what could have been a race quit into a grand quest. But this freedom is just the surface, because inside that boss arena, most modern games would start secretly bending the rules to save you. So here's the big question: does Elden Ring do the same? The answer might surprise you, and it's the exact reason your victories feel so real.
So, you grab your new swamp sword, level up, and you're back into the arena. You're doing great, but suddenly you'd get hit, and your health bar shrinks to a sliver. You panic, you reach for your flask, and boom. The boss attacks you the very instant your hand touches the potion. Bad luck? No, that was on purpose. We call it input reading. The bosses are literally trained to watch for your healing and punish it instantly. Sounds cruel, right? Especially when you learn that many famous games secretly cheat in your favor. In Assassin's Creed and Dune, when your health drops near zero, the game quietly boosts your defense. So that last hit leaves you at one dramatic point of health instead of killing you. In Bioshock, the first hit you take literally cannot kill you. It feels epic, but it's fake. Elden Ring, on the other hand, refuses to fake it. And that honestly is exactly why winning feels so real. Because the game is generous. It just hides its kindness in smarter places. Every huge boss attack ends with long recovery frames. A built-in bucket of save time, practically labeled "Drink your potion now." And here is the best kept secret of all: when you dodge roll, you become briefly invincible. Those are called iframes, and they let you roll straight through a sword swing, not away from it. The game never fakes the outcome, but it quietly bends physics in your favor. It hands you every tool to earn your survival. And once you understand that, the panic fades, because the fight has a beat. So, if the game gives you honest warnings, safe healing windows, and invincible dodges, why does combat still feel so intense? Because Elden Ring doesn't want to play the game for you. It wants to teach you how to dance. At first, combat is pure panic. A giant boss jumps at you and your brain screams, button smash, roll, do something. But the game has a tough love cure for panic: your stamina bar. Every swing and every frantic dodge costs energy. Panic roll 3 times in a row, and you're left standing there, out of breath, completely helpless. The game is forcing you to calm down and listen. And I mean that literally. The sound design is guiding you. The clash of steel, the heavy grunt of a boss right before they strike, the sudden silence before an explosion. Slowly, a transformation happens. You stop staring at your health bar. You stop mashing buttons. You start feeling the beat. Boss swings, pause, you roll, boss recovers, you strike, land enough hits, and their hidden sense meter breaks. The boss staggers, wide open for a free critical strike. That's your crescendo. Suddenly, you are fighting the game anymore. You are performing with it. A high stakes to it, where every movement matters. This is the exact moment the struggle turns into pure joy. You realize it was never about godlike reflexes. It was about finding your tempo. And that rhythmic relationship reveals something wonderful about how the creators see us as players. Once you learn the steps to this deadly dance, something amazing happens. You stop seeing that red you died scream as a punishment. You see it for what it really is, a lesson. Even death itself is designed to keep you going. Your runes don't vanish when you die. They wait for you right where you fell. One more reason to run back in. Because Elden Ring does something very rare in modern games. It actually respects you. So many games today hold your hand. Giant glowing arrows on every screen. Struggle for 2 minutes and they offer to skip the fight or lower difficulty. They are terrified you might get frustrated and leave. But Elden Ring looks you dead in the eyes and says, I think you're smart enough to figure this out. Sure, it says that while crushing you with a 20-foot golden hammer, but the sentiment is still incredibly sweet. This is the ultimate goal of great game design. Not making the game easy, not being cruel, but building a bridge of trust between creator and player. The honest telegraphs teach you, the open world lets you breathe, and the hidden safety nets pick you back up. So, remember the tree sentinel? The golden knight who flattened you in 3 steps? Go back to him, watch his horse, learn his rhythm. Roll when the hammer falls. You will die a few more times, and that's fine. That is the lesson. Because the moment that giant finally crashes to the ground, you will understand the whole secret. The game was never against you. It was training you. And nobody can ever take that victory away from you.